Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, let's jump straight in because today we are looking at a truly historic, just unbelievably emotional moment in the world of sports. Picture this, it's Paris, June 6, 2026. Right there on the famous red clay of Roland Garros, a 19-year-old from Siberia drops to her knees. The crowd is absolutely roaring. The air is completely electric. She has just pulled off a lifelong childhood dream, winning the French Open and cementing herself forever as a Grand Slam champion. The player, of course, is Mirra Andreeva. And listen, this isn't just a story about one tennis match. It is a story about relentless ambition, a total psychological transformation, and honestly, the making of a modern sporting icon.
And during the trophy presentation, she celebrated in a pretty unique way. She put on this special black jacket, and emblazoned right on it was a highly personal phrase. She didn't start off by thanking the crowd or the tournament organizers or even her coaches. Instead, she delivered this iconic quote, stating super clearly and confidently, "I want to thank myself for believing in myself, for giving 100% even when it's been tough, trying every day to be better as a person and a player." Now, she actually admitted she started saying this just as a joke, to make people laugh. But then, she realized the profound truth in it. She was the one doing all the grueling work, feeling those crushing nerves, and hitting those high-stakes shots. It's just this brilliant display of supreme self-belief.
Which brings us to Section 1, A Prodigy's Rapid Rise. From Siberia to the world stage. So, you might be wondering, who exactly is this wildly confident teenager and how did she get to this massive, defining moment so early in her life? Well, Mirra was born in April 2007 in Krasnoyarsk, Siberia. Her parents, especially her mom Riza, were completely tennis-obsessed. In fact, Riza would wake up in the middle of the night while she was pregnant just to watch live tennis matches, broadcast from across the world. By age 2, Mirra was already spending hours on the court, and by age 4, she was swinging a racket that was practically bigger than she was. To support this blindingly fast evolution, the family actually relocated all the way from Siberia to train at the prestigious Elite Tennis Center in Cannes, France. And the acceleration of her career from there is frankly unbelievable. By 2023, at just 16 years old, she came through qualifying to reach the round of 16 at Wimbledon. By 2024, she made the Roland Garros semifinals. And in 2025, she proved she was absolutely the real deal by winning back-to-back WTA 1000 titles in Dubai and Indian Wells. But I should point out, this rapid ascent wasn't entirely smooth sailing. Early on, her game was defined by two distinct things: raw talent and very raw emotions. Her early days in the professional tour were heavily marked by visible frustration, fierce temper tantrums, and, shattered rackets. She had a massive temper, and to her credit, she openly knew it and admitted it. You have to remember she was a teenager trying to process incredibly high-stakes pressure on a global stage, all while playing against grown women who had been on the tour for a decade. The sheer stress of those expectations often just boiled over, leading to outbursts that really threatened to overshadow her undeniable athletic gifts. Section 2, Mastering the Mental Game. Building a Champion's Mindset. To reach the absolute pinnacle of tennis, Mirra required a massive psychological evolution, not just a physical one. Her ground strokes were already elite, sure, but her mind had to catch up. So what actually caused the shift from that early career volatility to her rock-solid 2026 mindset? Well, a massive part of it was her 2024 partnership with her coach, former world number 2 Conquita Martinez, who really helped her maintain her composure, stay open to listening, and behave with incredible professionalism. But the biggest, most fundamental transformation came from working closely with sports psychologist Alexis Castori. Andrea realized, because her psychologist repeatedly hammered it home, that you can always choose how you are going to be on the court. She consciously decided to choose to be a resilient fighter rather than a victim of her own frustration. And to achieve that composure, they utilized a very specific technique, the big stop sign. Her psychologist instructed her to vividly imagine a massive physical red stop sign in her mind's eye the very second her emotions threaten to boil over during a match. It acts as an immediate mental circuit breaker. And honestly, what I love about this is how directly it applies to us. This simple but incredibly effective psychological visualization is a tool literally anyone can use. Next time you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or just frustrated in your daily life, try visualizing that big red stop sign to instantly regain emotional control, halt those negative thought spirals, and reset your focus, just like a Grand Slam champion. But she didn't just rely on her psychologist. She also looked to the greats, actively studying Roger Federer. But here is the fascinating detail. She wasn't studying his legendary forehand or his flawless footwork.
No, she studied his matches strictly to mimic his legendary composure. She recognized that while no one can truly replicate Federer's exact aura, she could actively impersonate the calm, unflappable way he behaved on the court when the pressure was at its absolute highest. She watched hours of footage, internalizing how he walked between points, how he breathed, and how he never, ever let his opponents see him sweat. Section 3. The Queen of Paris, dominating the 2026 French Open. Okay, so this is where all that mental rewiring was put to the ultimate test. Coming into Roland Garros, Andreeva was an absolute machine. She had an unmatched 22 wins out of 25 matches on clay, which was more than anyone else on the WTA Tour leading up to the major. She was World No. 8 and the heavy tournament favorite. But standing across the net in the final wasn't a fellow top 10 player. It was the ultimate underdog, Maja Chwalinska, a 24-year-old Polish qualifier ranked 114th in the world, who had just defied literally all odds, defeating top players like Zheng Qinquin to become the first qualifier in French Open history to ever reach the women's singles final. So the stage was set for a massive clash of expectations. But despite the beautiful Cinderella story of her opponent, the match was incredibly one-sided. 1 hour and 22 minutes, that is all it took. In the high-stakes, pressure-cooker environment of a Grand Slam final, Andreeva completely dominated from the very first serve all the way to match point. She was powerful, she was incredibly precise, and most importantly, she was fiercely composed. She secured a 6-3, 6-2 victory in basically the time it takes to watch a short movie. She didn't let the magnitude of the moment or the crowd's affection for the underdog rattle her for a single second. And the historical milestones of this victory are absolutely massive. Let's look at the gravity of what she achieved that day. She became the youngest French Open women's singles champion in over 3 decades, matching the legendary Monica Seles back in 1992. She became the 3rd youngest Grand Slam champion of the entire 21st century. Furthermore, she became the first Russian woman to win a major since Maria Sharapova in 2014, and notably, the first Russian major winner since the start of the Ukraine war. The global significance of this win, stretching across generational, historical, and international dimensions, simply cannot be overstated. Section 4. The Celebration. Validating the Thank Myself mantra. Bringing the story full circle right back to that winning moment on the clay, she immediately ran straight to the stands to hug Conchita Martinez, deeply thanking her coach for guiding her through her most difficult developmental times. Then, she donned that famous jacket. And as she reflected on the win, she offered this really beautiful quote. I'll be honest, I've done a lot of visualizations before. The feeling in real life is so much better than in your dreams. Looking at this trophy and realizing that this is actually true, and I can call myself a Grand Slam champion. It proved to her and to all of us watching that those intense mental visualizations, the stop signs, the meticulous impersonations of Federer's calmness had gloriously paid off in reality. Section 5. What comes next? The addiction to winning. Because if you think she's resting on her laurels, you'd be entirely mistaken. She's openly admitted that this feeling of victory is a little bit addictive. She didn't even pause to rest. Immediately after Paris, her sights were set squarely on the upcoming grass season and Wimbledon. But Wimbledon is just a stepping stone. 25. That is her ultimate stated career goal. 25 Grand Slam titles. She has specifically chosen this target to surpass Novak Djokovic's all-time record. The sheer unadulterated ambition to state that out loud right after winning your very first major tells you absolutely everything you need to know about her mindset and her drive to be the greatest to ever play the game. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. At just 19 years old, armed with her mother's lifelong dedication, an elite coaching team, a newly ironclad mindset, and a supreme unwavering belief in herself, can Mirra Andreeva rewrite the history of tennis? She's already permanently written her name into the history books in Paris. But if you ask her, she's only just getting started. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you took away some valuable lessons on mindset and ambition today.